Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for joining me today. I'm really excited to see what the runes have to say for this week ahead. And we don't have too many crazy transits happening this time around. We're in some pretty easygoing energy, though I will say that we just entered into Virgo season, so happy birthday to all the Virgos out there. I hope that you're enjoying yourselves. Virgo is a very beautiful sign for the sun to be in. We're going to be feeling more communicative, more connected to our scheduling. We may be invited to find more of the high priestess energy within us. Because I always see Virgo as the high priestess, as this energy that is deeply connected to its intuition, to its understanding of the divine principles that surround us, that orchestrate this great symphony of the universe, right? And so that really helps when it comes to pursuing our goals or to pursue our joys and our happiness. So I really hope that a lot of us allow ourselves this Virgo season to break out of our shells a little bit and to utilize the capacity or the greater awareness of our intuitive principle to tap more deeply into our goals, into our dreams. So I wouldn't be surprised if many of us will see some really fruitful events for the next month ahead. Now, let's see what the runes have to say. Ta-da! Lots of interesting things. A lot of runes fell out, which means we're gonna have a very busy week ahead. So, for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome, hi. I like to start in the middle, radiating outwards, because that's how I learned to read the runes. Of course, there are many ways in which one can read the runes, and I'm sure you can find other rune casters on YouTube, which is really fun. So, I start in the middle, radiating outwards, because time for me is a ripple through space. So, we're gonna start out here with these three runes kind of all jumbled together. So we have Isa, which is the rune of ice. We have Nauthiz, which is the rune of need, and I'm simplifying things for now. And then we have Wunyo, which is the rune for joy. So these guys are all, like, they kind of fell on top of each other. So we have Isa on top of Nauthiz on top of Wunyo, right? So it feels to me that many of us who are watching at this time, because again, it's a general reading, so take what resonates, leave the rest, as you often hear from readers on their channels. What I'm feeling is that a lot of us have been feeling stagnant in regards to the pursuit of what makes us happy. We may be feeling a little stagnant in terms of the goals that we have in place, or I should say that there are many of us who do feel good and will feel happy and ready and things are like going well, right? For some of us. But it really feels to me that there's this stillness, this slight stagnation, this feeling of when will it happen, right? Whatever that may be, because Isa is the rune of ice, so it represents the aspects of our lives in which we need to go within. We need to take time to pause, to freeze, to allow our desires to crystallize in the ways that they need to in order to see more clearly into them, right? And then Nauthiz underneath that really represents our desire, our passion, the needs that we have in our life, and how those needs then relate to the joy that we can produce in our life. Once we meet our needs, once we meet the things that we may require in our life, And a lot of people say, oh, the simple ones. We need to have food, we need to have water, we need to have, shelter over our heads, But there are other needs, right? There are emotional needs, there are spiritual needs, there are psychosomatic needs. There are ways in which the needs are not just about the physical plane, right? So it feels to me that there are needs in terms of our success, needs in terms of our joy when it comes to our creative practice, right? So it feels to me like starting today into tomorrow, we're going to be thawing out or perhaps exploring why we've been stagnant around allowing ourselves to receive the things that we want in life. Why we have perhaps prevented ourselves or have given pause before we set forth into the journey that we need to take to receive these blessings, right? Now, again, it feels there's another message that's coming through. Yay! There's another message that's coming through, and it feels like some of us do need to slow down a bit to become clearer about what we want, clearer about what we're looking for, whether it's in romantic partnerships or whether it's in like business relationships, because I feel a lot of us may have been getting what I'm hearing is like opportunities for promotion or opportunities for like different job opportunities, and it's time to take a pause to reflect on the kind of journey you want to take, right? Where are your needs and how will those needs be met by each of these opportunities, right? And then to pursue that. So now continuing outward into the weekend, into like Friday, Saturday, Sunday energy, I'm seeing some interesting things. I'm seeing manas that kind of fell on its side, right? Then we have on the more outer edges of the weekend, so going into Saturday, Sunday, we have Ingwas, which is the rune of solidness. As I like to say, it's the grounding rune. And then we have Dagas. But Dagas kind of fell on its side to look more to me like the hourglass, right? So we'll get into that in a second. But what I'm feeling from manas is that going into the weekend, it feels like we may need some time to recover. I feel like a lot of us may have been experiencing burnout, whether it's burnout in relation to our job or burnout in relation to socialization, or probably being a little bit too social for the past couple of weeks. Many of you may be traveling or may have traveled in the recent past, and I think it's time to recharge. Right? It's time to give yourself some opportunity to reflect and to process the things that had happened in the past week, right? Now, manas on its side can also represent having a difficult time hearing one's intuition or hearing one's messages from the higher self. So I would also suggest too, because it can mean cunning. It can also mean those moments where you kind of talk yourself into things or talk yourself out of things. And so I'm encouraging you to tap into more of what you're feeling and taking what you're feeling at face value. Don't try to overanalyze it, don't try to piece it apart, but just feel it first and then allow those feelings to lead you down the path that they need to take you. And then going into the weekend, right, we're going to be invited to take our time, right? Take our time with our decisions, take our time with our resting practice, because there's going to be some revelations, very slow rising revelations, I would say. So it's not going to be like a quick, like a message and someone gives you this whole big thing, or like you get a message from work, or you run into someone in the street and it's like, oh my God, hi. It doesn't feel like that. It feels more like slow realizations, like, oh, I remember this thing that happened a couple days ago and now I realize what it relates to. Or I see that when that person said something in this context, when they said this, I'm starting to realize that they meant something different, or they meant something a little bit more nuanced than I first gave credence to. So it feels like that, like subtle revelations that are coming up over the weekend, and then the necessity, of course, to ground ourselves into those revelations, whatever they may be. Because again, we're running through the theme of this week of tapping into our joys and the things that make us happy. Then we also have Berkano, but it fell in Merkstaff position, so it fell in reverse. And that to me usually represents social anxiety, or it can represent this feeling of not quite stagnation, because that would be more in the realm of Isa. But Berkano in Merkstav represents this kind of, the word that comes to mind is a dissatisfaction. So keep in mind the things that may dissatisfy you in the coming week. Because whatever it is that dissatisfies you will have a message in regards to what will satisfy you, right? We can often use the difficult moments in life or the unsatisfactory moments in life to allow for a moment of recognition. I don't like that, or that didn't please me, or that didn't make me happy, or I didn't feel good in that situation. And we can use those to then ask ourselves, or to use that as a platform for understanding what makes us happy, why it makes us happy, right? So the general message is for this week to pause on overthinking, to give yourself moments to recognize the things that you need, the things that make you happy, and then to utilize these small revelations as they come up during the week to set yourself up for greater awareness of which opportunity to take in your life or what steps to take next. So it kind of makes sense, especially in regards to just entering into Virgo season, because there's going to be a lot of reorganization of our schedules, reorganization of our patterns. You may be finding yourself going to sleep earlier or going to sleep later, certain things like this, right, where the patterns in which we engage in our life are starting to change, because Virgo always offers that opportunity for us to reflect on what divine what divine structure may be more beneficial to us. Because, you know, waking up at morning is not going to work for a bat, whereas waking up super early is going to work for the sparrow, right? Each of us has our own chronotype, or each of us have our own ways in which we live in the world. And I think this week is going to be a time where we're going to reflect on how we relate to the world around us a little bit more deeply. So that's what I have for the runes today. I hope that it really resonates with you. I hope that it makes sense. I always love doing the runes for the week ahead. I have some plans for more fun things to come along. I'm getting more back into it. So thank you guys for hanging out with me, for checking out the practice, for enjoying the runes with me, because I really do love sharing them with you guys. And I hope to see you guys next week here on the channel. Spread the word. If you like this, please like and subscribe. You know the drill. It really does help. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye everyone.